I really do not know why nobody else is talking about this. It's either a lack of knowledge or it's malintent. But the way to make money with altcoins is not what everybody else is talking about. It's not finding the one little gem that might make a 10x. It's instead to bet on the structure of the market. The structure of the market is not in favor of the average retail investor. Have a look at the data. In the last year, Bitcoin slightly lost by roughly 3%. But at the same time, most altcoins lost much more than that. Have a look at this. This is an overview of various altcoins depending on their market cap. How large are they? The top 100 altcoins on average lost 23%. The altcoins between rank 200 to 1000 lost around 40, 50, 60%. There's only one segment that outperformed Bitcoin. The altcoins that are not too big, that are not too small, that are between market rank 100 to 200. And that's how that looks like. Even the segment in general, the medium-sized altcoins, they have a few high flyers, but the vast majority also underperformed Bitcoin. How many altcoins actually made money? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've got 14 out of 100 altcoins that made money. While at the same time, Bitcoin was pretty much flat. In other words, there's an 86% chance to still lose when buying an altcoin, even if you buy in the right segment. And again, 9 out of 10 altcoin segments in the last year underperformed. Now, some people argue that the altcoin market in general had a hard time last year, and that this is not necessarily representative of what's the long term going to happen. That maybe we're going to see another altcoin season, and that will then fuel the price again, that will then lead to outperformance again. But again, let's look at the market structure in more detail. It is true that the altcoins in general did not perform that well last year. The others dominance, so how much of all of crypto is in the altcoins that are not in the top 10, that went down by 30%. So the market cap of altcoins declined by 30% relative to the rest of all of crypto. But have a look at the price developments in the last year. And that's now not based on size, that's based on where the tokens are listed. The prices of the average altcoin went down much more than 30%. They went down 40, 50, 60%, potentially even close to 70% for all the Crypto.com listed tokens. And the reason for that bad performance is token inflation. It's new tokens that hit the market, and then insiders and early investors and venture capitalists, they dump on the market. They dump on the average retail investor. They are pulling out their liquidity. They are making the return at the expense of the average retail investor. Have a look at the value of new tokens that get issued every week. Let's take an average week here. 1.4, 1.5 billion of new issuance. And that's only for the tokens that are listed here on Tokenomics.ai. Some weeks are, of course, much more inflationary. But let's take the 1.4, 1.5 billion. So that's the weekly token inflation. We've got a market cap of $593 billion. So that's now total 3 ES. That's a measure of the crypto market, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, and also excluding all the stable coins. When we calculate the ratio, so those 1.5 billion times 52 weeks, in relation to those 591 billion, we've got an annual inflation rate of 13%. On average, if the altcoin market cannot grow the demand for its tokens by at least 13% per annum, then the price has to come down. Compare those 13% with the inflation rate of Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's close to 0.8%. And that then explains this long-term trend. A trend that's going on already for 4 years. This is the others market cap relative to the market cap of Bitcoin plus Ethereum. That went down by 70% over the course of 4 years. And so where is the 4-year cycle over here, right? If we do see an altcoin season every 4 years, why don't we see this measure going up when we look at the last 4 years? Why is this always constantly coming down? It's even worse for the smaller altcoins. So this is now the altcoins at market rank 800 to 900 in terms of its size. There is an opportunity lying in all of this though. And I'll talk about this in a second. But just just have a look at those performances. Minus 92%, minus 89%, minus 79%. And again, that's just in a matter of a single year where Bitcoin barely moved. Really, the problem is token inflation. Here we've got Tokenomics.ai. Move has a lot of tokens getting released. This is the circulating supply over time. And here is the move price relative to Bitcoin. Surprise, surprise, initially some kind of marketing hype and then the project died down. This is very, very typical. Here is coinglass.com/token-unlock. Aptos also has a lot of token inflation. This is the circulating supply over time. It looks nice and rosy, rainbow colors here. But of course, Aptos has a very hard time outperforming Bitcoin as well. Again, the common theme, we do get a push via marketing and then subsequently the project dies. This is minus 97% relative to Bitcoin. And so very few people talk about this reality, probably because of conflict of interest. Most people get burned with charts like this. But there's a way to make money with this, and this is how I personally made my money in the last years. We can flip this chart. We can make this chart look like this. This is Bitcoin relative to Aptos. We can achieve this performance by betting on rising prices of Bitcoin and at the same time betting on falling prices of Aptos. So we cancel out the general macro environment. We're just looking at relative performance. And in the last year, that position made a return of almost 400%. So instead of getting this performance, we are flipping this around. Everything that's red turns green, everything that's green turns red. And so this is playing the market structure. This works for most altcoins. Of course, it works better for some altcoins than others. I am sharing my own trades here in Premium as well. So this is a free signal for you here on YouTube. I published this just today in Premium. I'm shorting WorldCoin relative to Bitcoin because WorldCoin also has an expanding token supply. I'm doing this for a while now. This is my monthly alpha over buying and holding Bitcoin. Some months we do not make money, but on average we do. This is a quite diversified, quite conservative portfolio. On average, I've got 1.9% alpha per month over just buying and holding Bitcoin. So that's then how that looks like over time. Had I just dollar cost average into Bitcoin, I would have gotten this line here in light gray. But because I do those relative valuation trades, I got the line in black. I also showed this then live to the Premium members in my own account. I took quite a bit of risk in that account. So that was 3 months of trading. I made 50%. That was last year. Subsequently, the demand for automatic copy trading, so where we don't have to manually execute the trades, came up. And that's then where we launched this. So that ran for 5 months in 2025. A bit more conservative than when I trade myself. Still, we made 17%, while Bitcoin during the same time period lost 25%. And again, it's no magic, right? We are just flipping this chart around. We are just betting on token inflation. We are just turning this into this. It's really no rocket science. You can do this yourself, even without my signals, even without automated copy trading. If you want to dive a bit deeper though, if you want to know how I do my risk management, how I do my stop losses, how I do my position sizing, etc., what platforms I use, and feel free to check out the tutorial section as well. There's the monthly membership where you get my trading signals directly. There's also the annual membership. This is where you can get the automated copy trading. By the way, there are some fees for that copy trading. A 5% deposit tax plus a 10% profit share. That copy trading pool will run until the end of the year. It will not just be a 5-month project as we had in 2025. We just launched this in summer of last year. That's why that was so short. Looking very much forward to seeing you on Premium. Also looking forward to seeing you again here in YouTube. Feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. See you next time. Cheers.